I'm Amber Fuhriman, and this is the Break Your Bullshit Box podcast. If you want comfort, this is not the place for you. If you're ready to understand what makes smart, capable, successful people, including you, keep repeating the same patterns, this show breaks down human behavior, drawn from real conversations and years of studying what makes people create change so that you can make better decisions, have better conversations, and get better results. So let's dig in and break the bullshit that's been running the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Break Your Bullshit Box podcast. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is this idea of being a chameleon. You know, growing up, I was somebody who got along with everybody. I was so agreeable most of the time. It's interesting because when I've talked to my mom about it and when I used to talk to my grandma about it, we would dig into the fact that you never really knew who I was going to be hanging out with. I was in choir and band and hung out with the jocks sometimes. I was sports. I did volleyball and basketball. I was in computer programming club and MathWorks and debate club. I loved the outdoors and hiking. All of these different groups of people, the church groups, I could get along with. And I would bounce from group to group and I could find something that I had in common with them. And I used to think that was a strength. And I still do. So before you jump at me for saying it's not, I still think it's a strength. The reason that I was a chameleon then versus the reason I can be a chameleon now are different. And it's the reason that decides whether it's a strength or whether it's a coping mechanism. You see, back then, I had no idea who the hell I was. And more importantly, I was willing to be whoever I thought the people I was with wanted me to be loved, accepted, understood, and appreciated. So when I was hanging out with one group of people, I would tap in to those qualities. You know, I would start dating somebody new and I would forget about everything that I was interested in. My favorite sports teams would become their favorite sports teams. My favorite movies would become their favorite movies. The interests that I had, I would pick up their interests, and I didn't maintain any of my own. And in fact, when I got into my most recent relationship, that's one of the things I was really worried about, is making sure that I maintained my sense of identity, who I am independently, and making sure that we both maintained our separate lives to some extent, because my identity matters. And back then, I don't think I knew that it did. When I started training and I started learning about NLP or neuro-linguistics programming, and I started paying attention to the reasons that I was a chameleon, I got really clear on the fact that deep down, I don't think I knew who I was, or that it was okay to be who I was. So I would put on a different mask for different people that I was around. And this is the real danger of being who you think other people want you to be, is nobody ever gets to really know who you are. And you don't ever feel like anybody knows or loves or appreciates you, because frankly, you've never let them get to know you. This is really important when we're talking about being a person. And it's incredibly important when we're talking about running a business, because in a world where people will associate with and do business with people that they know, like, and trust, how do they get to know you? How do they learn to like you? And how do they decide to trust you if they don't know who you are, if we never let them see who we really are? I believe that being a chameleon is a strength. I believe that being able to tap into different parts of who we are in different circumstances to relate to the most amount of people is a strength. I believe doing it intentionally because we want to connect with others so that we can serve them is a strength. I believe that doing it because we want to be loved and appreciated and accepted, and we are abandoning other parts of ourselves, is dangerous. So if you consider yourself a chameleon, if you feel like you can get along with multiple different types of people, do you feel like you fit into multiple different crowds? Start asking yourself, is it a strength? Is it because you are so sure of who you are that you can tap in to parts of yourself that lend strength to a situation? Or is it a coping mechanism? Are you so unsure of who you are that you are allowing yourself to take on the identities of everyone around you? Realistically, we can only start to understand when we're performing, when we have a mask on, when we're out of alignment, if we get really clear about who it is we are and what it is that we want. You know, this goes back to a couple of the episodes that we've done about identity, being able to identify who we are, what labels we've taken on. This is so important. Are they still who you want to be? The groups of people that you are performing for, are they the people that you want to be surrounded by? And if so, then what makes you think you need to perform in order to be accepted by them? This is your invitation to look at how you're showing up, the flexibility that you possess in situations, and ensure that you're doing it in a way that's not abandoning yourself. I'm not saying be rigid. I'm not saying be completely inflexible. I'm not saying never adjust to fit into a group. I'm saying be very clear in who you are. And when you know exactly who you are, then you can pick the pieces of that identity that lend the most to a particular circumstance and lean into those. If this is something you want to learn how to do more, or if this is something that intrigues you, that you want to have a conversation about how to get started, head over to successdevelopmentsolutions.com. There you'll find a link to my calendar. You can book your free strategy call with me, and we'll really start to dig in to the parts of your identity that are holding you back, the parts that you're ready to let go of, the parts that you're ready to lean into more. I look forward to connecting with you soon.